Krishna is an important figure in Hindu philosophy. He's not only seen as a divine being, but also as a wise teacher and guide. In the epic story of the Mahabharata, he serves as the charioteer for Arjuna, a brave warrior. Arjuna faces a serious existential crisis on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where he struggles with doubts and confusions about his duty. As he prepares to fight, he feels torn because he has to battle against his own family, teachers, and friends. This heavy burden of sorrow and compassion makes him question if the war is right and whether he should even fight at all. During this difficult time, Krishna steps in to help Arjuna. He's not just a divine figure, he's a caring mentor who understands Arjuna's internal conflict. Krishna realizes that Arjuna's struggle reflects challenges we all experience in life. Through the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, he offers advice that goes beyond the battle, touching on key concepts such as duty, action without attachment, and the importance of devotion. The Bhagavad Gita is a 700-verse Hindu text that is part of the Indian epic, the Mahabharata. It tells the story of a deep conversation between Arjuna and Krishna just before going into battle. In this conversation, Krishna shares important spiritual wisdom and guidance to help Arjuna deal with his inner struggles and confusions about fighting in the war. It's important to note that the Bhagavad Gita isn't promoting actual warfare or physical conflict. Instead, it uses the battlefield as a metaphor for the inner struggle against the ignorance and moral dilemmas we experience. And just like Arjuna, we all deal with conflicts and tough decisions. And Krishna's wisdom for Arjuna, well, it's for all of us. And in this video, we're going to discuss how we can use Krishna's wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita to become emotionally strong. Number 1. Embrace your Dharma. Krishna says, "Perform your obligatory duty, because action is indeed better than inaction." In Krishna's philosophy, Dharma is the idea of duty and living in the right way, in line with the laws of the universe. It's about doing what's morally correct, even when it's difficult. Arjuna, one of the greatest warriors, stands on the brink of battle, overwhelmed with grief and doubt. He's not just fighting any enemy, he's facing his own family, friends, people he loves. As he looks out across the battlefield, he feels utterly heartbroken, unwilling to fight, unwilling to kill those closest to him. But then, Krishna steps in, offering a life-changing perspective. He reminds Arjuna that his Dharma as a warrior is not about his personal feelings. It's about fighting for justice, for righteousness, even in the face of unbearable emotional pain. Arjuna's mind is clouded by his emotions, but Krishna urges him to rise above those feelings, to not act from fear or attachment, but from a deeper sense of purpose. Hence, emotional strength is not about ignoring our feelings, but about not letting them control us. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard. Dharma, as Krishna explains, is different for each of us. It's tied to our roles and responsibilities in life. For parents, it means nurturing their children, teaching them values, and creating a loving, stable home. And this isn't easy. It requires patience, selflessness, and a vision for the future. But in doing so, they're not just shaping the lives of their children, they're contributing to the future of society. For teachers, their dharma is to educate and inspire the next generation. They ignite curiosity, foster critical thinking, and help build responsible individuals who'll carry the world forward. Their work is foundational to the betterment of society, And as for soldiers, their Dharma is perhaps the most intense. It involves protecting the nation, standing on the front lines, often risking their lives to safeguard others. Bravery, loyalty, discipline, these are the pillars of their duty. They put aside personal fears and desires for the safety and freedom of others. But whether you're a parent, a teacher, a soldier, or even a farmer, a judge, Dharma is about one thing: acting in ways that uphold truth, justice, and harmony. It's a personal compass that guides us not just to act in our own interest, but in the interests of the greater good, creating balance in the world around us. But here's the thing: following Dharma isn't easy. Life throws us curveballs, doubt, emotional struggles, difficult decisions. And it's in these moments when our commitment to Dharma is truly tested. Krishna teaches us that emotional strength is critical in staying on this path. Life is full of loss, challenges, and tough choices. These situations stir up powerful emotions: grief, anger, fear, and confusion. And these emotions can cloud our judgment, stop us from doing what's right. But Krishna's message is clear. Even in the midst of emotional turmoil, we must focus on our duty, on what's right. While emotions are a natural part of life, they are temporary, and we must learn to rise above them and stay committed to our duty, our Dharma. Number 2. Practice karma yoga. According to Krishna, you have the right to work, but never to its fruits. Once you've identified your responsibilities, your Dharma, it's important to not be attached to the outcome. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches Arjuna about karma yoga, which is the yoga of selfless action. Krishna teaches us that while it's important to fulfill your responsibilities, you shouldn't get caught up in what you'll gain from it. Don't let the outcome control your actions. Instead, focus on the work itself. When we work with this selfless mindset, we stay calm, steady, and unaffected by success or failure. In Hindu philosophy, karma is the idea that every action, thought, and intention sends out energy that eventually returns to us. It's the force that keeps us in the cycle of samsara, the endless loop of birth, death, and rebirth. Each time we act with selfish motives, we generate karma, binding us to this cycle. The more we desire, the more we act to satisfy those desires, and this keeps us trapped in the same patterns over and over again. Imagine this: you're working hard, striving for promotions and raises. At first, it might seem like a laudable goal, but when it becomes an obsession, stress builds, and you're never satisfied. You want more, and with each achievement, a new desire takes its place. This is how karma works. It keeps us entangled, always chasing, always striving, but never truly at peace. But here's the beautiful part of karma yoga. When you perform actions selflessly, without being attached to the outcome, you can break free from this cycle. If your actions aren't driven by personal gain, they don't generate karma that binds you. Think about that for a second. When you let go of the ego, when you're not working just to satisfy your desires, your actions become lighter, more meaningful, and most importantly, free from attachment. Now let's examine the opposing example. The person who works with integrity and dedication, but doesn't obsess over promotions or rewards. They find satisfaction in the work itself. That's the essence of karma yoga. Acting in line with your Dharma, dedicating the results of your work to a higher purpose, and in doing so, purifying the mind and heart. This process of purification reduces the accumulation of karma and ultimately helps us dissolve past karmic debts. And where does this lead? It leads to moksha. liberation. Freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth, a state where the soul is no longer bound by karma and can unite with the divine. But let's bring this back down to the practical level. How can we apply karma yoga in our everyday lives? It starts with adopting a selfless attitude in whatever we do. Whether you're a student, a professional, a parent, or a chef, give your duties full dedication, integrity, and a sense of service. The key here is detachment from the outcome. Let's say you're a student. You study hard for an exam, but you don't let anxiety about the grade dominate your thoughts. Instead, you focus on the learning itself, the process, and let go of the result. That's karma yoga. You stay calm whether you succeed or fail, whether you get praise or criticism. This keeps you grounded and helps avoid the emotional roller coaster that often comes with chasing results. Another key aspect of karma yoga is being fully present in whatever task you're performing. When you give your full attention to the moment, your actions become more meaningful. For example, a chef carefully preparing a meal, whether it's for a restaurant full of customers or just for their family at home, finds joy in the act of cooking itself. They aren't focused on the praise they might receive, but on the art of the task at hand. That's the power of karma yoga in daily life. When we perform our duties selflessly, without attachment, we build emotional resilience. We stay steady through life's ups and downs, and we come to see our actions as contributions to something greater, not just as a means to personal gain. Remember, life's greatest rewards often come not from what we achieve, but from how we approach each moment with purpose, presence, and selflessness. Number 3. Practice Vairagya. Krishna once said to Arjuna, "O mighty armed son of Kunti, what you say is correct. The mind is indeed very difficult to restrain, but by practice and detachment, it can be controlled." Vairagya is about learning to release the grip that worldly pleasures and material possessions can have on us. While karma yoga focuses on selfless action, Vairagya emphasizes emotional detachment from material desires. Now, here's the important part. Vairagya doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or giving up everything you love. It's about engaging fully in life while staying emotionally balanced. Krishna explains that while the mind can be restless and easily swayed by desires, we can train it through consistent practice and detachment. Let's look at it through the lens of Maya, which in the Hindu philosophy refers to the illusions that cloud our perception of reality. Think of Maya as the fog that makes us believe things like wealth, status, or relationships are the key to happiness. But these are all temporary. For example, you might feel proud of your new car, but over time it'll age, get scratches, and eventually need replacement. If your happiness depends on it, you'll feel disappointed when it no longer serves you as it once did. This is Maya at work, making us attach our worth and joy to things that don't last. Practicing Vairagya helps us break free from this illusion. It's about learning to let go of the emotional weight we attach to material things and experiences, and instead connect to something deeper, an unchanging spiritual reality. Hindu philosophy explains this as a journey in stages. The first stage, yatamana, is where we start to realize the temporary nature of worldly things. We might simplify our lives, give up unnecessary luxuries, or focus on finding peace within. Next is Vairagya, where we begin to see clearly what truly matters. At this stage, we can start to distinguish between what's real and lasting, and what's fleeting and distracting. We prioritize spiritual growth and relationships that enrich our lives. Then there's Kendriya, where our focus sharpens. We dedicate time to meditation, prayer, or self-study, staying committed to our spiritual goals despite the busyness of life. Finally, we reach Vashikara, the highest form of detachment. At this stage, we have complete control over our senses and desires. We're no longer swayed by external circumstances. Joy and sorrow pass through us, but we remain balanced and centered. Now, let's make this practical. Vairagya isn't about giving up all your things and walking away from the world. It's about living without letting your happiness hinge on external outcomes. Of course, you can enjoy your work, friendships, and possessions, but understand that your inner peace doesn't depend on them. Whether life goes your way or not, you stay grounded. You can start by focusing on the present moment, doing your best in whatever task is at hand, without worrying too much about where it will all lead. Reflect regularly. Meditate or journal. This helps you recognize when you're getting too attached to something, so you can realign with your inner self. In the end, Vairagya is about engaging with life fully, without stressing over what we can't control. This way, we can remain calm, strong and happy no matter what challenges life brings. Number 4. Understand your true self. In the words of Krishna, the soul is neither born and nor does it die. It is eternal and beyond the physical body. In the Bhagavad Gita, the concept of Atman is profoundly significant in enhancing our emotional strength. Atman refers to the true self or soul that exists within each individual. This idea is crucial to the teachings of Krishna, who guides Arjuna, as understanding Atman allows us to recognize our true nature, which can lead us to spiritual freedom. One key aspect of Atman is that it's eternal and unchanging. While our physical bodies experience constant changes, growing, aging, and eventually dying, Atman remains constant, much like a movie scene that continues to play even as the background shifts. One vital aspect of Atman is its indestructibility. Krishna emphasizes that our soul cannot be destroyed. He asserts that weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, and wind cannot dry it. This metaphor signifies that our true self is beyond any form of harm. For instance, consider a balloon that floats in the sky. While the balloon may eventually burst, the air within it continues to exist. Realizing that Atman, our soul, is indestructible, fosters a sense of security and reduces our anxiety regarding the challenges and changes we face in life. Atman helps us rise above the opposites in life, like pleasure and pain, success and failure, joy and sorrow. These opposites, or dualities, are a natural part of life. For example, we all experience moments of happiness and sadness, victories and defeats. When we understand and connect with our Atman, we realize that our true self is not affected by these ups and downs. And it's this understanding that helps us stay calm and balanced no matter what happens around us. Think of it like being a sturdy tree in a storm. The wind may blow hard and the rain may pour down, but the tree stands firm and doesn't get uprooted. Similarly, when we identify with our Atman, we become emotionally strong and steady. This calm and balanced state is called equanimity. And what that means is that we don't get overly excited during good times or too upset during bad times. We maintain a steady mind and heart. This doesn't mean we don't feel emotions, but rather that we're not controlled by them. We can enjoy happiness without becoming too attached to it, and we can face difficulties without being overwhelmed by them. When we connect with our Atman, we become more self-aware and mindful. Self-awareness means knowing what we're thinking and feeling at any moment, whereas mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without judging it. Combined, these practices help us understand ourselves better and make clear and thoughtful decisions instead of just reacting without thinking. Imagine you feel angry about something, but instead of immediately yelling or acting out, mindfulness helps you notice that you are angry and understand why you feel that way. From there, you can choose to respond calmly and wisely. This way, you handle the situation better and don't end up making things worse. Krishna teaches that being ignorant of our Atman, not knowing our true self, is a big cause of our suffering. It's like getting lost in a big city. You feel confused and frustrated because you don't know where you are or where to go. Similarly, not knowing who we really are makes us feel lost and unhappy. But once we learn about our Atman, we find clarity and joy. This bliss has always been inside us, just waiting to be discovered. To truly understand and realize the Atman, practicing Jnana Yoga is essential. According to Krishna, Jnana Yoga is the knowledge of understanding the difference between the Atman, our eternal soul, our true self, and the temporary material world. This discernment helps us see beyond the surface and recognize the deeper truths of existence. Jnana Yoga involves 3 key practices: Shravana, which means listening, Manana, which means reflecting, and Nididhyasana, which means deep meditation. By listening to spiritual teachings, reflecting on their meanings, and meditating on these truths, we can develop a clear mind. This clarity allows us to distinguish between what's real and lasting and what's temporary and illusory. Practically speaking, Jnana Yoga encourages continuous learning, whether through scripture, philosophy, or wise mentors. Critical thinking is vital for questioning assumptions and making informed decisions, free from the influence of fleeting emotions or external pressures. Reflecting on past experiences also helps us grow wiser and avoid repeating mistakes. Through Jnana Yoga, we come to understand the nature of our true self and learn to tell the difference between what's real and what's temporary. By recognizing that our true self, our soul, is eternal and not affected by these temporary changes, we become less attached to these fleeting experiences. This lack of attachment reduces anxiety and emotional distress, making us emotionally stronger and more resilient in the face of challenges. Number 5. Surrender to the divine. In our final quote from Krishna for this video, he says, "Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me." Krishna teaches Arjuna about Bhakti Yoga, which is crucial for both spiritual growth and emotional strength. So what is Bhakti Yoga? At its core, it's about dedicating our thoughts, actions, and feelings to a higher power, be it a god or a personal deity we feel deeply connected to. For Arjuna, that higher power is Krishna himself. One remarkable aspect of Bhakti Yoga is how it helps us rise above our ego. The ego often makes us focus on our own importance and desires, leading to stress and conflict. When we're fixated on our own problems, we feel isolated and dissatisfied, and even more so when things don't go our way. However, turning our attention to the divine helps us break free from these self-centered thoughts and connect with a greater reality. By focusing on the divine, we start to see ourselves as part of a bigger picture, realizing our personal worries are just small parts of life's vast puzzle. Practices like prayer and meditation shift our focus from individual concerns to a higher purpose. This shift is like adjusting a camera lens for a clearer, wider view of the world. As we adopt this broader perspective, we understand that chasing material possessions, status, or fleeting pleasures only brings temporary happiness. Recognizing this truth encourages us to let go of the need to control every aspect of our lives. Surrendering control means trusting in a greater plan, even if it's not immediately clear. This act of surrender, called devotion, lightens our burdens and eases self-imposed pressure. This acceptance allows us to face life's challenges with grace. It doesn't mean we stop trying to improve, but we acknowledge that challenges are part of our journey. Feeling connected to the divine is like having a wise mentor guiding us through life's ups and downs, reassuring us that we're not alone. By turning our focus towards the divine, we discover a deeper joy that doesn't fade away. This joy comes from feeling connected to something bigger, like family, community, or the universe. It's like being part of a beautiful tapestry where each thread matters. This connection gives our lives meaning and helps us stay hopeful during tough times. Practicing bhakti yoga in daily life involves regular acts of devotion, such as chanting divine names, praying, meditating, and performing rituals. These activities keep our minds focused on the divine and add a sense of sacredness to our routines. And as we nurture this relationship, we'll notice significant changes within ourselves. Our emotional landscape stabilizes, and over time, our hearts will fill with love and peace. This consistent devotion builds emotional resilience, helping us stay grounded amidst all of life's challenges. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out our full Philosophies for Life playlist. And for more videos to help you find success and happiness using beautiful philosophical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.